Once you operate at peak performance, you make competition absolutely irrelevant. And I'm going to be proving it to you with a story of two entrepreneurs in which entrepreneur B is able to have a nearly 200 times more valuable day than entrepreneur A. And they both work the same amount of hours. They both work in the same industry and wake up at the same time. It is what they do in those 8 hours in which they're working that makes all the difference in their life and business. Welcome back. Hello everyone, Leon Castillo here, founder of Selfmastered, Peak Performance Institute for Founders. We systematize the art and science of peak performance to help entrepreneurs like you scale without any overwhelm, distractions, and burnout. And before we get into the meat of the video, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on any of the juicy videos that we publish every few days. So this is a real story, so pay attention, because I'm going to prove to you by running the actual numbers that the best thing you can do for your life really is to learn how to operate at peak performance. Let's start with entrepreneur A. Entrepreneur A works a 8-time shift. He has a business, he wakes up at 7, and since he's not really trained in performance, he does nothing to prime himself up for the day. So he checks the phone the first thing in the morning, he's really slow in the morning, he pays no attention to what he has for breakfast, and it takes him about 2 hours to finally get to the office. Since he doesn't have like a clear strategy, he doesn't know how to prioritize. So the first thing he does is just jump on a quick meeting with the team and then do some administrative tasks and respond to emails, things that really don't have much value. Now, when 10:30 finally comes, he's able to start devoting time to essential activities, but his brain is not trained to avoid distractions. So he basically self-sabotages every few minutes by checking Slack or email real quick and not really being focused and engaged in the task. So let's say that he has a 2-hour work session, but efficiency is about 50%. Then 12:30 p.m. comes by and it's time to have lunch, and he has a high carb meal. He has not learned how to really eat for high performance. So of course he has an afternoon slump. He comes back to work at 1:30 p.m. and the first thing he does again is to jump real quick to check a few emails and talk to a few team members. It isn't until 2:30 that he can start doing what he believes to be high leverage work, but really is $100 an hour work at most. But with this afternoon slump, it really gets him about 20 to 30 minutes to really drive focus. An hour comes by and he gets a call from our client. He ends up chit-chatting a little bit and he wraps up his day at 5 p.m. sending a few email and basically making sure that the team is working. Now, how much did he got done during the day? Well, if we run the numbers, it's 3 hours at $100 an hour and 5 hours at $10 an hour. But remember, the efficiency of the $100 an hour work was about 50%. So the total dollar amount for the day is roughly $200 for 8 hours of work, roughly $25 an hour. Now let's compare it to entrepreneur B, who is well versed in peak performance. He understands the necessity of priming yourself mentally and physically for showing up at your best every single day. So he wakes up at the same time as entrepreneur A at 7 a.m. And the first thing he does is run through a very short but value-packed morning routine that includes meditation, self-hypnosis, visualization. He also goes for a walk in order to get insights for the sales letter that he is about to write. Then he hits the office at 8 a.m., just 1 hour after waking up, and the first thing he does is he goes into a ring fence session, which is Self-Mastered Deep Work Protocol, working on the most important thing of the day, which is a sales letter, which is a $10,000 an hour work, right? 2 hours elapse and he is able to finish or nearly finish that sales letter. At 10 a.m., his brain is exhausted, so he takes a 30-minute break, has breakfast, do a little bit of a stretching, takes a short walk, and primes himself to get back to work and really restart the cycle again. At 10:30, he's back at it again, working at full capacity. Now, in his second ring fence session, he's not doing $10,000 an hour work because he's not writing the sales letter anymore. He's focused on running paid ad campaigns and optimizing the ones that are already working, which is $1,000 an hour task. And he does that with full focus. He does not get distracted, does not check email real quick, he does not talk to anyone on the team. He's hell-bent on making sure that he does the best job he can on running paid ads. And guess what? 2 hours come by and he is finally done with what he needed to do for the day, which is the sales letter and running paid ads. So the next thing he does right before going for lunch at 1 is checking email, jumping real quick, actioning emails with short responses, deleting everything that doesn't really need to, has nothing to do with his work or does not demand an immediate response. And at 1, he is ready to go for a high protein meal. Since he understands the impact that nutrition has on performance, he prioritizes high protein meals that can keep him energetic and avoid the afternoon slump. He's back at his desk at 2 p.m. ready to tackle $10,000 an hour work, which is in essence the same sales letter that he was about to finish in the morning. And the last 30 minutes of the day, he checks in again with his team real quick, sends a few emails, and he's off work at 4 p.m. Now let's run the numbers of how efficient and valuable his day was. He did 3.5 hours of $10,000 an hour work at 100% efficiency, 2 hours of $1,000 an hour work, which is, the paid ads, and then he did 1 hour of $10 an hour work, which was basically sending emails and talking to people. The total value of the day is $37,000, which is roughly 185 times more valuable than entrepreneur A. And he was able to do this without changing anything on the business, just by learning how to not get distracted, how to prioritize the wildly important, how to execute with peak clarity, focus, and discipline. Within a few months, Entrepreneur B has already done more work than Entrepreneur A will ever do in a year. After 3 years of executing at this capacity, there's nothing Entrepreneur A can do to catch up. It's over. Entrepreneur B has already accumulated so many results that the gap is just unsurmountable. This is why peak performance is so important. And you want to know what is the wildest thing about the story? That both entrepreneurs are the same. This is the story of one of our clients who came to us thinking that maybe he was not being as effective and productive as he could be. He had this doubt in his mind. Well, now you know that he was having on average a $200 day. As soon as we re-architected everything that he was doing, he started having $30,000 and $40,000 an hour day. And we did that by training his mind to remove all limiting beliefs and be able to face the hard work and eventually conquer it with a smile, becoming addicted to hard work, learning how to access flow states every single day, not get distracted by BS. Such is the power of peak performance. And listen, success is not magic. It's just pure math. Run the numbers. If you are able to consistently do 100 or 200 times more per day, measure in terms of dollar an hour than your competitors, you're going to smoke them. It's literally what is going to happen. And this is how some of our clients who've been with us only 18 months have a scale from 5 to 7 figures. Not because they're smart or more talented than the average entrepreneur, although they are smart, it's because they know how to get the most out of themselves. Once I understood this a few years ago, nearly a decade ago, my life changed because I realized that this really was the greatest thing that I could be working on, because this is what you guys need, right? If you cannot focus, you cannot be disciplined, you're wasting your time in distractions, learning how to operate at peak performance really is what is going to change the game for you. So this is the story that I have for you today. If you really want to become the absolute best version of yourself, train your performance. It is the thing that is going to make the most difference in your life. Of course, if you want a proven help to achieve your yearly goals in 3 months by becoming the elite entrepreneurs that makes it happen, book a call below. We'll be happy to work with you. We have slots available and there's a fit. We're gonna run a 360 performance analysis of who you are right now, then strategically level up the skills you need in order to get focused, get disciplined, get consistent, and finally take you to the finish line of a goal that we agreed together. Things that we have helped others achieve is, double, triple, 10x the revenue, have a $500,000 launch, all sorts of things that demanded them absolute peak performance. And of course, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on any of the videos. See you in the next video.